Hello and welcome to A Deeper Discourse. I'm David Hotle, the editor of the Muscatine Journal. It's October 18th, 2022. It's starting to cool off, and we have a very special event coming up this coming Saturday. We are going to be host to the riverboat American Queen. It's going to be docked overnight, and many of the passengers are going to spend the morning exploring Muscatine. Here with me today to talk about that is Rebecca Paulson from the Greater Muscatine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Hi, Rebecca. How are you?
I'm great, David. Thanks. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Well, hey, I was going to say, from what I understand, the boat visiting Muscatine is thanks in no small part to, well, to the entire chamber, but I understand you've had quite a hand in it. So tell me about it. What all went to getting the American Queen to stop at Muscatine?
Sure. This has been a group effort, and I could really even say community effort between the city of Muscatine, the Chamber of Commerce and Visit Muscatine, the tourism branch of the chamber, as well as community representatives. We've had a lot of conversations with specifically the Parks and Rec department, who's been fantastic. Some of our attractions, the Pearl Button Museum, the Art Center, the Environmental Learning Center. We took some of the representatives out to Wildcat Den and the Pine Creek Grist Mill. And so the Friends of the Pine Creek Grist Mill have been fabulous. So really, this has been a long time coming. It's been several months of conversations and hosting. And I'm very pleased to say that we are finally ready to host the American Queen in Muscatine on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was going to say I was very impressed when the American Duchess stopped by. To me, it was just huge. But the American Queen is actually bigger, is that right?
It is. It is quite a bit larger, and it holds more guests. So we are expecting about 350 guests to be on board when they do dock in Muscatine over the weekend. Now, not all of them will get off. We do hope that a majority of them will get off the boat and explore Muscatine, but it's a pretty significant amount of people.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, tell us what we can expect Saturday. I mean, I know it's going to dock Friday night,
It
but
will. They're expected to come in on Friday evening, sometime probably between 11 and 12, give or take. Obviously, there are river conditions getting through the locks that can change that estimated arrival time, but that's kind of what the original forecast was for their arrival. When they come in, I have requested for Muscatine Power and Water to extend the bridge lights and the bridge light show to go till about 1 a.m. Usually that shuts off, I think, around maybe 10 or 11 p.m. So I thought that would be a nice treat for them as they pull into Muscatine to see our beautiful bridge lights, because they will be spending the night in Muscatine. So I think it'll be a beautiful treat for the crew and any passengers who are awake to be able to witness what that looks like in the evening, since they'll be leaving in the afternoon and otherwise wouldn't get to see it. And then our morning will start early at about 8:30. The guests will depart. They will get on motor coaches, and they call it a hop on, hop off tour. So the guests will get on a motor coach bus, be dropped off at one of the three stops. They'll have the opportunity to pick which stops they want to go to, and for the length of time. When they're done with that stop, they will get on the next motor coach that comes around and then continue on to the other stops or head back to the boat. Or they have the opportunity to walk around in downtown Muscatine, either from the first stop, which is the National Pearl Button Museum at the History and Industry Center, located right there on 2nd Street. Or they could, because of the close proximity to the riverfront, they could, especially since the weather is going to be nice, get off the boat and just walk straight downtown.
Okay.
And then they will be getting on the boat, departing for their next stop, which is going to be going downriver to Hannibal. But they will be back on the boat around noon, and then it will be departing about 12:30 p.m.
Okay. I actually just visited Hannibal not too long ago.
Yeah, some great Mark Twain history there.
There is. Um, but I was going to ask if we do become a dock, basically a
Mm-hmm.
docking point for the American river boats, would every time be like this, or would it be different? Would they sometimes just open it up to the guests, just let them go and walk downtown, or how would that work? Would it be different every time? Would it be the same?
So it would typically be the same every time. They would typically arrive the night before and then typically stay half day. And that is really just based on their port schedule, and where they call it a turn stop. So the guests get on up in North or Red Wing, Minnesota. They drive down, and then they have a particular amount of time that it takes them to get downriver, and then they turn around and then come back upriver. So due to the nature of where we're located along that route, it will typically always be a half day will be a normal stop, and it will typically be on a Friday, Saturday, or a Sunday visit. Now there are some exceptions to that, but we won't really know that until they work through all the details of their schedule and planning towards the end of the year for their 2023 calendar.
Okay. And this is kind of the last kind of acid test before they decide whether or not to pick Muscatine for a docking point.
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So assuming it goes well, the plan is that they will incorporate Muscatine as a stop in 2023. The frequency is still to be determined, but we're confident that they're going to have a great time on Saturday, and that we'll get hopefully be able to get on a few stops next year.
Hmm. Well, there has been quite a bit of community support. I know when the American Duchess stopped, was that in August or July? I forget.
I believe that was in August.
Okay, there were actually several hundred people who turned out to welcome them. So the community is
Yes.
definitely behind the riverboats stopping in town.
Yeah, it has been really fun to see the community support and kind of the camaraderie and the interest level of people in the community. I think it is one of those nice things that you can see on social media chat groups and things like that, where people are actually excited about something. They're coming together in a positive way and having positive interactions. And, the American Queen, she, which I love how they always refer to her, the boats as she is the largest steamboat passenger in the world. So that is really something to have that on the Mississippi going up and down. It's pretty neat to see.
Okay. I think I saw her. She went by about a month ago, and I went out and shot some video of that. So that is a big ship. That is a
Yeah,
very big
yeah.
ship.
I'm very excited to get pictures of her docked in Muscatine, and having people come down and kind of see the magnitude of what she is.
Okay. Well, I was going to say you actually had the chance to board a cruise ship. I don't know if it was the Queen or which one when it was docked in Davenport. What's it like inside the ships?
So I was actually on the Duchess when she came in and ported in Muscatine, or yes. And so it's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. They're all a little bit different. They have different amenities. From what I gather, the American Queen is a little bit more um, true to the era of the steamboat in terms of design and decor. And the Duchess that I was on was a little bit more modern feel. Um, but it's really beautiful, and what they offer is really spectacular. Very similar to a cruise line that you go on to in the ocean. These are really well done ships that are going up and down the river. really all over the country. They have a lot of boats that go into a lot of areas, not just the Mississippi.
Okay. Well, we had started talking about this right before the show. Tell me about if Muscatine does become a port city, what kinds of benefits can we expect to see from that?
I think there's a lot of benefits. Some of them are intangible. The intangible benefit to me is really giving people a positive experience in Muscatine, making Muscatine increasing awareness, I guess, of it out in different parts of the country. These guests that are getting on this boat, you've got 350 of them. They're going up and down the Mississippi. They're really coming from all over the country. And so, we're exposing people to Muscatine that may not have otherwise had that opportunity to really learn about our community. They may have otherwise gone up and down the river on this cruise and not given Muscatine a second thought, or had any interest in our town. So that's kind of an intangible benefit, in my opinion, is really just increasing the awareness of Muscatine and giving people a positive experience here. In terms of, a benefit to Muscatine residents, I guess, and small businesses, part of the benefit is that these guests will be hopefully enjoying some time downtown. They'll be enjoying our riverfront, hopefully shopping at some of our stores, buying souvenirs. And then they will definitely be going to our excursions, which is exciting. So they'll be stopping at the History and National Pearl Butt Museum at the History and Industry Center. They'll be stopping at the Muscatine Art Center and then the Environmental Learning Center. So it's great, again, to get people in there. And then really, with these guests and these boats, there's motor coaches, and that brings, motor coaches they're filling up with gasoline. The crew are going to be getting off and hopefully dining downtown and patronizing our restaurants and shops. They'll be staying at the different hotels in town. The bus drivers will, so there's 5 of those people, as well as the different people that are involved with the ship will be staying in Muscatine, shopping, eating, staying at hotels. So that's a great benefit. And so that's really beneficial. And then in terms of tourism, I do think that, we'll be able to kind of draw people into Muscatine from surrounding communities that may be interested in the boat. If you live in Iowa City, for example, we could probably pull some people in from Iowa City that would be interested in seeing these boats when they're downtown. And so they'll be coming in, again, getting to know our community, having a positive experience, shopping, dining, filling up with gas, potentially spending the night. So I think from a tourist standpoint, it brings in tourism as well, kind of just regionally, in addition to the people that are coming from other parts of the country as a guest of the boat.
Mm-hmm. While we're on the subject, kind of throwing off just a little bit, tell me a bit more about the promotion of the chamber. What are some of the other things that you're doing to bring tourism to the community?
Yeah, so some new things that we've done recently is we've been offering event grants to people that want to have events. That is something that we here at the chamber that businesses want, the community wants, is events. And there are people that are interested in hosting events. So, for example, Food Truck Fight was something that we were able to bring in to Muscatine. Shops with Hops were done in other communities. And so we, through these event grants, were able to help bring those events to the Muscatine riverfront, as well as things that we're doing through the chamber, like the Pearl City Vintage Market that was just here on October 8th. That brings a lot of people in regionally to see their favorite vendors. We had over 50 vendors. And then people from surrounding communities come down to the Muscatine riverfront and shop and hopefully spend the afternoon, again, eating at the food trucks or eating at restaurants and enjoying downtown Muscatine.
Was it you that told me you guys had over 2,000 people visit the vintage market?
We did. And that doesn't include, the actual market vendors. So we probably had quite a bit more than that if you counted those people that were there. Because, of course, they did leave their own booths to go shopping and eat as well.
Okay, so on Saturday, what are we as a community supposed to do? How can we help out?
So on Saturday, we would love it if the residents in the community come down to the riverfront around 12:15. They can come down near the Riverview Center, kind of in that area near where the fountain would be and the Mississippi Harvest, which a lot of people lovingly call the Clamor. So that way, when the boat leaves, you can wave, wish them well, thank them for visiting Muscatine. I kind of think of that scene from movies where people are waving as the boat's kind of leaving or waving off to their loved ones, and just sending them off with warm wishes and a general spirit of gratitude for their stop, I think would be really nice. And then, of course, while people are down there, we hope that then they will spend the afternoon enjoying the riverfront. It's supposed to be a beautiful day, probably one of the last nice days of the year. I think we're expecting sunny, 70 degrees, shop downtown, grab some lunch, or stay for dinner. Enjoy Muscatine while the weather is nice and it's enjoyable to be out.
Funny you should say that. It actually snowed on me yesterday.
Oh, geez.
I was in Moline. I looked around and there's snow in the air.
It's too early.
So, it is too early. It is. And when do you think Muscatine will learn if it is going to be included in the calendar of stops on the American steamboat tours?
We should know hopefully in January. I'm expecting to find out for sure, and then what those dates will be so we can get to work planning.
Okay. So what does the chamber have coming up? What other types of events do you have to kind of round out the year and maybe lead us into next year?
Yeah, well, one of the events that we've been planning and that's in the works is the holiday open house. And as you can imagine, that is a really important event for downtown Muscatine. We will have the stores will be open. It's a Sunday afternoon. It's a lovely time to shop, think about the holidays, start checking items off your Christmas list for those hard to find people, people that are hard to find gifts for. And then, the other nice thing about that event that I personally love is really just being able to bump into people you haven't seen in a while. It's just good community feel of shopping, grab your coffee, grab your hot cocoa, walk around, say hi to the folks you haven't seen, and just enjoy that community spirit.
Okay. The holiday open house, I'm trying to remember that from last year. What new things do we have with that?
So that's really a shopping event. It is different than the holiday stroll, which is something that we're not part of. But it is a shopping event, and so it's typically a Sunday afternoon. And usually stores will offer specials. They have extended hours. Just trying to get people in the mood and thinking about Christmas and getting those shopping items done.
Okay, those were the kind of the questions that I had about the visit of the American Queen and what's going on at the chamber. Is there anything else that you would care to add or anything I might have forgotten to ask?
The other thing I would mention that you can look forward to in January is the return of Eagles and Ivories, and that's kind of a fun event as well. I know that they're going to be pushing that out probably a little bit here more in the future, but that is another great big weekend event that we have in Muscatine in January that people should get on their calendars. And if you haven't participated, it's a fun weekend.
Okay. Actually, I haven't. What is it?
So the Eagles and Ivories is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday event, and the Muscatine Arts Council, the Muscatine County Arts Council, has world-renowned musicians come in, and they typically play ragtime music. It's at Wesley Church. We have people from all over, people flying from out of the country to attend this. Because these musicians do have such a big following, and There's different meals that are included with your tickets, and then they also have a part of the event is they play live music with black and white films, and so that's something that is really unique and that people really love. And then there is part of that is celebrating the Eagles being in Muscatine, and includes eagle watching. And then they have the Muscatine County Conservation will bring in raptors to either Pearl City Station or the Riverview Center, where people can, get up close and personal with some of the raptors, like a bald eagle or what do they call them, like a turkey vulture, just to see how they are. It's really neat to be able to see those up close.
Okay. Okay, well, hey, Rebecca, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for, and looking forward to seeing you on Saturday with the American Queen here.
Yes, thank you so much, David. We'll see you on Saturday.
We'll see you on Saturday.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hi, and thank you for being with us again today. I've been David Hotle. I'm the editor of the Muscatine Journal. And don't forget, if it's Tuesday, it must be Muscatine.